Okay, hey everyone, this is week 15, 5.4 to 5.8. I think we have 5 weeks, including this week, to go. So I believe in last week's video, we did this one on last week's video. And then I think it's like 1 hour and 8 minutes and something seconds is when you want to start it. So I did 5.1 and 5.2 already in last week's video. It looks like there's a slight lag, so I'll try to go a little bit slower. So 5.1.3, consider the table at right, and there's no table at right, which is annoying. Consider the table at right. Write an equation that represents the function of the table at right. So this looks like this is plus 12, plus 12, plus 12. So the slope is, so I think the change to go from 1 to 2 is plus 6, it's 1. So it's like 6x plus, and then to go to 0, you go minus 6, which is negative 11. Minus 11 equals y. So if you want me to do that using slope, you could do 7 minus negative 5 over 3 minus 2, which is 12 over 3 minus 1 over 2, which equals 6. So that's the slope. And then you could do negative 5 equals 6 times 1 plus b, and then you get negative 11 equals b. Make a table for the inverse. How is the table related to the inverse table? You switch them. An equation for the inverse. So I'm going to switch x and y. So y, x equals 6, y minus 11. So x minus 11 equals 6y. Y equals x minus 11 over 6. Sorry for the sniffles. Graph both to verify the inverses. Six x minus 11 and plus 11 divided by 6. This should be plus. Write the inverse function for each of the following functions. Clearly show all your steps. I'm going to switch x and y. So x is 2, y minus 1 cubed. So divide by 2. Cube root. Add 1. Over here, x equals 3, y minus 9 over 2 plus 20. Subtract 20. Divide by 3. Times by 2. Add 9. And then this is equal to f inverse of x. Equal to f inverse of x. There you go. So there's 5-40 and there's 39. Oh, there's the table if you need it. Andrea's strategy for checking that the function f of x, f inverse x functions is to think of them as stacking function machines. She started by choosing number and drop in f of x. She drops the output from f of x and the f inverse of x. She gets the original number. She's pretty sure the two functions are inverse. With the team, cite the pair of inverse functions from problem 5-40, then use Andrea's idea to test them. So this is A through D. So I'm going to do f of 3. So 2 times 3 minus 1 cubed. 2 cubed is 8, 16. Take 16 now and plug it into the inverse. F inverse of 16 equals cube root of 16 over 2 plus 1. That's 8. Cube root is 2. 2 plus 1 equals 3. F inverse of 16 equals 3. Andrea wants to show that work algebraically. She chooses 3. We did that. Does Andrea's strategy confirm the inverses? Yes. So if you do F inverse of f of 3, you should get 3. If you get f inverse of 5 of f, you should get 5. Yes. And try how to find the inverse of the following function. Show the equation below. Will our stack function machine method work? So let's plug in -5. -1 cubed, -1, that's squared. -1 squared is 1, plus 2 is 3. So f of 3 equals 3. And then I take 3 and plug it in here. Which equals 3 minus 2, square root plus 3. So 1 plus 3 equals 4. Does not work. Andrea's friend comment decided to check f inverse of -5. What happened? F of -5 equals -5 minus 3 squared plus 2, 8, which equals 64 plus 2, 66. Take 66 and plug into the inverse. 66 minus 2 square root. Which is 8 plus 3, which equals 11. They do not equal. How can you restrict the domain of f of x to make sure the functions are inverse of each other? Because right here you have this minus 3, you can do x plus minus 3 squared plus 2 with x is less than or equal to 3. Your inverse is f inverse of x equals minus square root of x plus 2. X minus 2 plus 3. And then you can do the same thing. But this one's going to be greater than 3. And this will be positive. Brianna and Statler are writing inverse functions come up with inverse pairs. They have 3 different methods Andrea can use to verify. So you can do graphing. reflect over x-axis, sorry, y equals x. You could stack. You could use a table and switch x and y. Up under is to verify which pairs of these functions are really inverses. If they are not explaining what went wrong, write the inverse functions correctly. So go ahead, use one of these methods to figure out which one is inverses, not inverses. Pause it here. Inverses are I and double I, and then not inverses are triple I and IV. And you can do the stacking method, plug in like 1 every time, see what happens. You can graph them, see what happens. It's right here. Graph them, see what happens. Skip. There's part 1 over your HW. And then go back up here. Wednesday. Draw and graph the inverse functions from the given graph without finding the equation of the inverse first. The equation is y equals x. And the mapping rule is x becomes y and y becomes x. xy becomes yx. It's 0, 0. So 0, 0. And then you have 1, negative 1. So negative 1, 1. Okay, 1, negative 1. So negative 1, 1. And then you have negative 1, 1. So it's 1, negative 1. I mean another point here. So negative 1.54. So 4, negative 1.5. Here are the points. So 0, negative 1. So I want 0, negative 1. And I have negative 1, 0. So negative 1, 0. I have 1, 0. So 0, 1. And I have 2, 3. So 3, 2. And negative 2, 3. So 3, negative 2. So I'm going to square this, I guess. So 4 equals 3x minus 2 plus 10x minus 10 minus x and minus 2 times the square root of that's 32x minus 3x squared minus 20. So I'm going to combine like terms. So it's 2x minus 8. So 4 equals 2x minus 8 minus 2 square root negative 20 plus 32x minus 3x squared. Combine everything to one side. To this, all this to the other side. So that's 2x minus 12 equals plus dividing by 2 equals x minus 6. Square both sides. X squared minus 12x plus 36 equals negative 3x squared plus 32x minus 20. Bring all to one side. 4x squared minus 44x plus 56. 0 dividing by 4. So is that x squared minus 11x plus 14. So then 2. Should have been positive 8. So this should have been 4. Divided by 2. This should have been 2. 4x plus 4. This 4x plus minus 28x plus 24. So that x squared minus 7x plus 6. X minus 6. X minus 1. X equals 6. And x equals 1. And then you're going to have to take this and plug it back in and check it. So 6, 18, 18 minus 2 is 4. Minus 2, that one's good. And then check 1. 3 minus 2 is 1. 1 minus 3. This one is no good. Now take. So. Alright, 5.2 point. Yep. Function y equals to be x as an inverse function, but you're not sure how to write the function in y form. Since exponential functions are useful for modeling everyday situations, such as the coronavirus, the inverse of an exponential function is also important. We use y equals 3x as an example. Even though you may not know how to write the equation of inverse function in the y form, you already know a lot about it. Make a table for the inverse. So the original point, and then the inverse. So if this is 0, 1, 2, 3, you got 3 to 0 1, 3, 9, 27. So the inverse is 0, 1, 2, 3. We're doing -1 and -2. Here's 1/3 and 1/9. So 1/3, 1/9, -1 and -2. Sketch the graph. And this one's going to look like. If the input for the inverse is 81, what's the output? So x equals 30 to the y, and 81 equals 3 to the y. What does y have to be? 3, 9, 27, 81, 4. So the inverse of exponential functions are logarithms. I think if you look at the coronavirus graph, it looks like this on a logarithmic scale. And then the inverse logarithms, for short, logs, give you the power slash exponent. So, so parts 55-52. So far you work with these different functions. I think it's 54, sorry. There's some clues to help you figure out how the puzzles work. You use the clues to determine the missing piece. So essentially what you do, you take this and you rewrite it as the base. So you have log base of a number. And you want this A to be written with the base B of some sort of number. So 2 to what number gets you 16? 2 to the 4. So this equals 4. B. Right here, this is log base 2 of 2 to the 5th power, 5. So then now this is log of what is what squared, gets you 100. And this one, 5 to the 3rd power equals what? 125. Or 5 cubed. What to the 4th power gets you 81? 3. This was a hard one. 10 to the what power gets you? No. 100 to what power gets you 10? The square root, so it's the half. Analyze the puzzle results. So if y equals b to the x, then the log of b of y equals x. So y equals 3 to the x. You can switch that to be x equals y to the 3 to the y, which turns into log base 3x equals y. So we can practice more of that. So there's your video. There's the rest of your homework. Nice job.